Hello, everyone, and welcome to another CBC review. Tom and Tom here, both Toms again, Tom squared, and we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad, which we both saw last night at the midnight screening.
Woo.
And yeah, we're just going to give our thoughts on it, a little discussion review, and yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, full spoilers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll just start off. I preferred this movie to Man of Steel. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. It certainly doesn't deserve the hate it's getting, but it also definitely doesn't deserve all the love that it's getting from
Oh
some people
yeah.
either.
Oh yeah. 100%. I totally agree with that. I prefer this over Man of Steel. I prefer this over Batman v Superman. It's probably in this DC universe so far they've created. It's probably the best one so far.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the best one so far, which is why I think it doesn't deserve quite as much hate as it's getting from critics. Like, there's a lot of critics that are hating on it because it was confusing to them, which I do understand. There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of comic book stuff in the movie, and we talked about this while leaving the theater last
Yeah.
night, where
Because
they just throw in a touch, don't they, of certain things and expect
oh
us to know the rest.
a lot. They throw in a lot of comic. This was a film that you can tell was made for comic book aficionados or people who know the property. But the problem is that if you go into this film, you know nothing. I literally mean know nothing about the comic books. You're going to be heavily lost in places with the characters mostly.
Mm. The problem with DC at the moment is they need to find that sweet spot,
Oh, they
which
do.
is what Marvel have done, where it appeals to non-fans and fans alike.
Yeah, I think Marvel sort of hit that stride after basically after Captain America, because
Mm.
like Iron Man was nowhere near from what it was in the original comic. Captain America was too close to the comics, and then Avengers happened, and that sort of had a good balance, and they sort of kept
Yeah.
that formula going forward into the rest of their films.
Yeah, they fucked up a little bit with Thor: The Dark World, but the
Yeah,
least said about that movie, the better.
oh yeah,
And yeah, so anybody who's going to call us DC haters for this review or whatever, I mean, we will happily admit Iron Man 2, Thor 2, both atrocious pieces of shit.
oh yeah,
But yeah, plus I don't really give a shit about Marvel in terms of the comic books. I've always been a DC fan in terms of the comics. It's a shame that Marvel are producing the movies I like and DC aren't.
well,
But
that's when you and me different with our opinion. I'm more Marvel
we're the
person.
exact
You
opposite in terms of
exactly, yeah,
that.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, literally the exact opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah. As for the movie itself, I thought the actors did a fantastic job. I don't feel like anyone was miscast in this film,
No, acting was probably what saved this film the most, to be honest. Like,
for sure.
everyone was
The
on
actors,
performance.
absolutely.
Yeah, they were on performance. They were fun. They were witty. They was clever. They were written. Especially the ones they kept emphasis on, like Will Smith as Deadshot,
Yeah.
and
Well, they knew that they had a leading man with Will Smith,
yeah,
so it was smart
and
of them to focus on him.
it was good. And as well, what's her name? Play Harley Quinn. I forgot. Oh God,
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robin as well did a fantastic job as Harley Quinn as well. And
She was pretty great as Harley Quinn. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
it was kind of a toned down version in terms of the characters' like complexity that we know from the comics. Like, it was very
yeah.
much just almost, I wouldn't say it was a caricature, but it was leaning more in that direction.
Well, I mean, you could definitely tell that they took a lot of inspiration from a new 52 counterpart. If you read
Oh, for
her
sure.
comics, it's a lot of her 52 counterpart in that version of that character.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting to see. I mean, they recreated that famous painting of Joker and Harley Quinn for one
Oh,
shot.
you and me got big, massive smiles when we saw that. We're, oh my god.
Oh yeah, that was really fantastic to see. And the only thing that annoys me a little bit about it is that people are pointing to that one shot, which lasts about 2 seconds in the film, and saying, "Oh, look at this shot! They totally got it perfectly right. Like, they did nothing wrong with this movie. Just look at that shot." And it's like, well, the movie's got problems beyond that.
Yeah. What I mean, one thing with that shot is, before we just go on, just quickly say this. It was never actual storyline in any of the comic. It was just
No,
a
it was,
cover artwork is the best way to put it. That's all it
yeah.
was.
Alex Ross does a lot of brilliant commissioned works for DC and Marvel, and that's one of his absolute best and most iconic.
Yeah.
And it was really fantastic to see because, I mean, that was the original painting was my desktop wallpaper when I was at college for like a good year. It's one of my favourite images that Alex Ross has done. Although I lean more towards his Superman stuff, but I'm getting off topic there.
But
Yeah,
But yeah, the general story, it's very basic. I think this is probably one of the reasons why
the
critics didn't like
story
it.
is the story is weak.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it. The story is weak. The first half hour is very. The first half hour you can totally tell
Yeah.
is cut by the guys that made the trailers.
You know what this feels like to me? It feels like basically there was a first act, but there wasn't a middle act, like it's only a first act
Yeah,
and a third act. There was no second act,
you can tell that a lot of stuff has been cut from the middle of the movie, and I'm guessing almost all of that would be Joker stuff because Jared Leto's come out and said that a lot of Joker stuff was actually cut. I mean, I'll say this: we've already said about how the actors did a great job. I will just say I was trying to look beyond his visual style of the Joker, and I actually could just look past that for the majority of the film, and he looked fine in the movie itself. But I can't stand his take on the Joker.
Yeah.
I can't stand the voice he's using. It's trying too hard to be like Heath Ledger. And it just seems... There's certain shots, especially towards the end of the film, and spoilers, when him and Harley Quinn are in a helicopter and they're trying to get out and the helicopter gets taken down. And the Joker has to sort of shout and scream, and he's got to try and... He's basically, as an actor, he's got to emote.
Yeah,
and the voice gets in the way, and his performance comes across like a first-year drama student.
Well, the thing is with this Joker, that you compare it to the other Jokers that have been in the previous live-action films, or the voiceover work and stuff like that, this Joker feels like the thug Joker. He's pretty much like the gangbang, modern interpretation of a gangbanger Joker.
He's like a cartel Joker.
Yeah, cartel. And
you'd expect him more to be a villain in Breaking Bad than in a Batman movie.
Exactly. He would fit in Breaking Bad perfectly in somewhere. A little bit...
Yeah, he's basically Tuco from Breaking Bad.
He is, yeah. Now you mention that, he is Tuco.
Even right down to the silver grill.
Yeah, because the thing is that every incarnation we have of the Joker, like the 1989 Nixon Joker, and he was the classic Godfather type of Joker sort of thing, like the classic gangster.
Which obviously, which Jack Nicholson played perfectly.
Yeah, and then you had Heath Ledger. He was the good modern interpretation, the psychopath, the mastermind Joker.
The anarchist.
The anarchist is the best way to put it. And then you got Cesar Romero, basically was the clown, like the fool, and that sort of thing. And this Joker was just a thug Joker. Jared Leto, he didn't do a bad job, but he wasn't given how these Warner Brothers wanted the Joker to be. He did the best job he did with what they wanted him to do,
Yeah, I'm figuring... I don't know. I mean, I just didn't like his performance. I thought he made some really bizarre choices. The editing really fucked up his performance, for sure. The way his performance was cut around and stuff, it was like any timing and anything he tried to put in to create tension, I have a feeling was just immediately cut from the movie.
Well, we say this quickly. Armin's already covered this on this channel. You can watch the video. But he talked about the editing situation. 12 hours before the film came out, this whole big news story leaked about... the editing crisis, because the editor basically essentially walked out because they told him, we got this version of the film already made by these trailer park people, and we want to merge one of their versions with your version. And
it was kind of scumbaggy what they did.
Yeah.
They got the trailer people to cut a secret version of the film behind Aya's back, and then basically told him, right, we want you to take this from this cut and this from that cut and merge them together. And what comes as a result is an incredibly disjointed experience.
Yeah. And didn't the guy who did the effects for the film, did he have to step in and actually help out to finish off the film, the editing-wise?
I'm not sure about that. That's not part that I've heard.
Oh, okay.
It may well have done. It might just be a story I've not picked up on. I was trying to avoid spoilers for the film before going in. I didn't manage to avoid all spoilers, so I did know the Flash had a cameo, but that was the extent of really what I knew about it. I knew that he came to stop Boomerang.
His character literally just turns up and he beats Captain Boomerang. That's all it is.
Yeah, but considering that there was already 2 characters taken down by Batman in flashbacks, I was actually kind of glad that the way that they took down Captain Boomerang, they didn't just have Batman take him down or have the cops do it.
Well, I mean, Captain Boomerang is a classic Flash villain, so it makes sense.
The Flash's cameo in this is miles better than it was in Batman v Superman, I will say that. At least he didn't appear in a fucking dream sequence this time.
Yeah, and also he was wearing the suit from the Justice League trailer, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah, that was especially cool to see it in motion in a sequence that obviously wasn't in the Justice League trailer, and see a little bit more of it. Plus, he showed some of his humour as well, which was nice. I mean, this whole film, there's bits to like about it, and there's bits to hate about it.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm sort of sitting in the middle. I just thought it was meh.
Yeah. What I mean, you could tell where the problems were with this film, because it was down to the editing. We already mentioned it, but the editing was a big problem with this film, because it just had a load of problems with it. Because how can I say this? It's
the editing is it's not as disjointed as it was in Batman v Superman, but it's just odd.
yeah, it's really really odd, and they didn't know 100% where to go in what direction with it because they had these two muck up or these two versions of the film being merged together, and
Yeah.
you could tell that they were introducing all these characters at the very beginning with backstory, but then you later on the film they don't even address their character development. The biggest one was Cry. I noticed like they touch upon her character in points in the film, and suddenly
Who?
Cry.
Cry.
Yeah, you know the Japanese woman with the katana. No
Oh, I
katana.
just
Yeah.
call her Katana.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, my bad. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting the characters
Sorry,
mixed up.
I didn't know her name. I'm not a huge fan of Suicide
Yeah.
Squad as the comic books.
Well, that's what I mean. It's
It's probably why I wasn't completely thrilled with the movie. I mean, I know the characters individually, but not really so much as a team. But in terms of actually an entertaining movie, the Assault on Arkham animated movie is far better.
oh yeah, definitely,
And
100%.
that wasn't even particularly great. But it is definitely better.
Yeah, and the other characters that suffer as well, Killer Croc. They said his
Killer
character
Croc.
suffered majorly in this film.
Yeah. And I said actually on the way back, there was this whole bit towards the end of the movie where each character was getting shown their sort of like a dream sequence type thing of their ideal life or their ideal future. And I thought it was such a shame that Killer Croc didn't get one. And it was just it would have been great if it was just a flash of him hitting Batman with a big rock.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been, if they had done that in the movie, I would have immediately knocked up its score an extra whole point just for that. But yeah, did you notice when Harley Quinn's introduction, going back to the intros and stuff, giving
Yeah.
away character stuff, did you notice Harley's introduction listed her as an accomplice in the murder of Robin?
Ah, no, I did not notice that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird though. It was so quick on screen that, I mean, it had accomplice in the death of Robin, but then Robin got crossed out and something else was put there instead, but I didn't catch it quick enough to actually see what that was. If anybody did, please put it in the comments of this YouTube video.
Yeah, because the thing was with
It may have said Jason Todd and then crossed out and said Robin or something
Yeah.
like that, but I completely missed what the other option was.
out of all the members of the Suicide Squad, the only other character they given character development to was Rick Flagg. He's the
Well,
only. Well, to be fair, you compare him
I
to
thought
Killer.
Diablo had the most character development in the entire movie.
Who?
He's the only one who really had a character arc.
Which one? Oh, Diablo. Yeah. Oh God, I completely forgot about. Yeah. He did. Yeah. He had.
Diablo, the fire.
Yeah, I know. He had a whole character.
He had a great
yeah.
character arc.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's annoying that the character I actually found myself liking most is the one that died.
Well, to be fair, if anyone went in there was a fan of the Slipknot guy, well, don't hold your breath on him. Christ, he gets.
Do you know, he gets killed immediately.
Oh yeah, he get killed in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of funny as well because there's stuff is coming out about the stuff that was deleted from the movie, and one of the things that was deleted is apparently they established early on in the film that he was a serial rapist, and that was part of the reason to make the audience hate him more, so they actually enjoyed when he died.
Yeah.
Why they cut that out, I don't know. Maybe they felt that was slightly too dark, too Snydery.
I'm guessing maybe they wanted to take it out because they wanted to fix more the tone that they went with later on in the production, and secondly as well, I'm guessing they just had to cut stuff out because this film was like nearly 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I hope they. I mean, with Batman versus Superman, they needed the ultimate cut. With this one, I don't think they do need it, but I would really, really like it if they did one.
what to just do an extended cut?
Yeah, if they did a 2.5 hour version of this and just actually added back in all the deleted scenes, all the character development that was cut, I mean, yeah, I think that would be the best move. I mean, I don't think it's necessary to do an ultimate cut with this one because it is a stronger film than BVS, but I would like to see it at the very least.
I think the one thing we haven't talked about yet, I'm surprised we haven't talked about, was Enchantress.
Enchantress, how they advertised the whole way through that she's going to be one of the squad, which I don't mind that they had her just go rogue, but I mean, who didn't see that coming?
Oh my!
It was blindingly obvious that they couldn't control her.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first scene where they show how they do control her, she's got the heart on her desk and she's talking to the all the government officials, and she's saying like, "This is how we keep her in control." And she's got the heart in a box a meter away from her. Like, at any point, she could have just grabbed it and teleported away.
Yeah.
It was Amanda Waller, who is an incredibly intelligent character in the comics, acts like a fucking moron in this movie,
I
and
think
that's one
that
of my biggest problems with it. Is
yeah,
she acts like a total idiot.
I wouldn't say a total idiot to be honest, but
Well, I mean, if helicopters trying to get into the city are being swatted out of the sky like it's nothing, don't try to escape the city on on a helicopter because
yeah,
she gets taken down immediately.
yeah, true. Not to
Plus, she
say,
didn't really. I just think she was acting stupid in this movie. She was making decisions that the Amanda Waller in the comic books, I can't see her doing.
yeah. What I mean, it's like if you look at the characters overall, it's like basically Deadshot, Joker, Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, Amanda Waller, and El Diablo was the only characters that really had character arcs and character development in this film. All the rest
Apparent,
lose it.
Apparently, there's a lot of Killer Croc stuff that was cut as well, though. That's a
Yeah,
bit annoying. Like,
Killer
there's that
Croc.
line about him being beautiful. Apparently, that was a running gag throughout the entire movie, and it was cut down to just one line.
Oh, the guy they got to play Killer Croc, he was really, really good.
Oh, his performance was great. It was just a shame that the prosthetics made his head so huge. I mean, it worked most of the time, but there were some shots where it just really. I'm not sure. I mean, I always love when they go for practical effects and makeup over CGI characters, but in this case, I feel like a bit of CGI was necessary.
Well, I mean, I like the fact that they gave him prosthetic makeup and everything like that, and it actually gave the actor more a chance to actually give more that visual
Yeah,
awareness sort of thing, and basically portrayed it through that.
it
Through
certainly
the
grounded
makeup.
it more.
Yeah, it's the same with Drax from Guardian of the Galaxy. Basically, I'm glad that was actually prosthetic makeup rather than not CGI because he actually got
Yeah.
more lifelike performance out of the actor. You know,
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad they
but
went in that direction. I
yeah,
just think in some sections, I think it should have just been enhanced with a bit more CGI,
oh yeah,
not necessarily fully CG, but
yeah.
just to make the proportions look a little bit closer.
Right, the one scene I want to talk about, which pissed me off so much, because I thought
It's
it would
probably the same scene that I'm thinking of. Go on.
it was a great moment to have such great character development, them getting talk to each other, have this big, deep conversation with each other to before they go in to fight the Enchantress for this big final showdown sort of thing. And you could tell it was cut because there was scenes of it in the trailer. Was the bar scene?
Yeah, the bar scene could have
Oh,
been. I mean, going back to a film we watched a week or two ago now, Star Trek Beyond. It had a really like poignant scene at the beginning of the movie where just Kirk and Bones were sitting in the sort of the bar area on the Enterprise, and they're just having a conversation. And it's so much more powerful because the camera's not zipping around the place. There's no lens flares. It's not feeling like it's got to be cut to pieces. Like they take their time, and that's something that this scene needed because it didn't feel grounded. It didn't feel like the scene as it was supposed to be, which was almost like a breather from the action before the big finale.
yeah,
It almost just felt like, oh, this is just a stepping stone, so let's get through it as quickly as we
yeah.
can.
Because that's what I mean. 'Cause it felt like that. Okay, they go into the bar, and then suddenly, when they cut to the scene, feel like you miss like the beginning of the conversation they were having in the bar, and then Rick Flag walks in. And it's like, okay, what did we miss here? Well, what were they talking about? It could feel like that they all open up, talking
Yeah.
about their past and stuff and that. And there only was it El Diablo, the only guy they actually went to his past during that whole entire bar sequence. And I thought that would have been so much more powerful if they have everyone have one that little moment of just them talking about themselves, getting to know each other a bit better, and like in Star Trek Beyond, just slow it down before they go into the big action sequence at
Yeah.
the end.
They shouldn't be afraid to slow things down when
Yeah,
needed. I mean, this was supposed to be the scene where the characters really bonded and came together.
because
But
the
the
reason,
problem is, in the movie, the scene itself lasts about a minute and a half.
yeah, and the problem is basically it should have been that big Bond experience moment. But basically, they were like, even Rick was like, you know what, fuck it, and destroyed the device that basically would set off the transmitters in their heads. And the reason why, because they all bonded together because Deadshot finds Amanda Warner's case files, and essentially he finds out that this was all planned all along, sort of thing. Basically, they're being pulled, essentially they're the puppets, and she's pulling their strings and everything like that. And basically, they bond together because they were like, you know what, fuck the system, we're going to do it our way, sort of thing. You know?
Yeah. At that point, they were just like, we've been through so much. If you want to kill us, kill us. We just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how that feeling just immediately disappeared because they completely fucked with the edit on the next scene. And you can tell some stuff is missing because, like you said, there were clips in the trailers, But they've been releasing clips for this movie on YouTube and stuff like that over the past week, and like Deadshot's introduction when he's on the roof and he's negotiating his price and all
that was funny.
That was a great scene in the movie, but I swear when they released the actual clip online, it's edited differently. Like, it's slower. The clip they released online is better than it actually appears in the movie, and that's just weird.
I don't know.
I mean, once the DVD and Blu-ray comes out, I'll have to go back and like compare side by side and just see. But I have a feeling the clips that were released advertising the movie, or that one in particular, was from the original Ayer cut, and maybe the one in the movie is the trailer people's cut, which is a bit cheeky, really.
Well, like I said, we wait until it come out on Blu-ray. But I mean, I think this film, it has its problems.
There's a few more things I definitely want to touch on before we wrap up, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did they have to flash back to Superman's funeral in BVS?
Oh, God, yeah.
Really? That was so fucking out of place and stupid. We did not need to know that. Just, I don't know, show a newspaper or something. When they get into Midway City, maybe there's a newspaper headline with the Superman down, Morning of Lost thing, Perry White's headline from the end of BVS.
The only thing I can see from their perspective was that, okay, some people going into this film might have not watched Batman v Superman. So they're going in this blind, so they need to know that Superman's just been killed. That's the only reason.
So doing that, though? But they did that through dialogue, really?
Yeah, I know.
They don't need to actually show us footage from Batman v Superman, because the footage doesn't look like it's from the same movie, because Snyder's visual style is very different. So it sticks out. It just sticks out.
I remember when we sit down there, I immediately, when you see a man, could the film open up with her going to the restaurant to speak to the general?
Yeah.
And when she walks in, you see these guys outside the restaurant basically selling these Batman and Superman T-shirts. And I saw your face, I saw Dan's face, and you guys were livid at the logo on the T-shirt. I
was just like, how the fuck do they have the original Superman logo on T-shirts when he's never had this in this universe?
Yeah.
It's just like, it just seems like poor attention to detail, in my opinion. Why couldn't they have just made it BVS-style merchandise? But, I mean, that was just a tiny little nitpick. That's not something that I actually held against the movie particularly.
No, not at all.
But another big problem I did have with it was the attack starts, and it's the middle of the night. Then you cut to the Suicide Squad gearing up, and it's the middle of the day. And then it goes back to the city, and it's the middle of the night again. So, apparently it's been 24 hours since the attack started before the Suicide Squad even arrive. At least 24 hours.
I think they did mention... I think they did mention that somewhere in the film. Remember them saying, they said, oh, that's been going on for 24 hours at least, you know. They did mention that. But yeah, again, them flying into...
They may well have done, but they're not in any hurry. They're taking their time, slowing. They're taking their time to check out Harley Quinn as she's putting her outfit on and perv over her a little bit. Like, they're taking their time and doing it so slow. It's like, this attack's happening right now. People are dying. Fucking just stop making puns, stop joking around, and actually just go fucking do your jobs.
Whatever I mean, because, like... Again, I've read the New 52 Suicide Squad stuff, and...
also, why would it take 20
pretty much like that. Basically, the best way to explain Task Force X in that continuity is that they are like the last resort sort of thing. They're going to try to do everything before they have to send in these madmen and these crazy people and stuff like that, because they don't want to send these madmen and these crazy people into this situation. They're going to like, okay, we're going to send...
Even though that's all they've talked about the entire movie.
Exactly, yeah. It contradicts itself in the comic as well, but yeah.
So stupid though. Why would it take them 24 hours?
I don't know, because maybe they had to transport them from wherever that... What was it? It was in Indiana swamp all the way over to another coast, maybe. I don't know.
It's the government, they've got jets.
I know, but I think that's
flying. It's not like they're on the road.
I think that's a nitpicking thing, but...
It is a nitpicking thing, but I just thought in the context of the movie, it just didn't work. I just think, why not just keep it at night? Just keep it consistent, or have one scene, have them arrive in the city during the day or something, and show like the aftermath of the previous night's events. That would be at least interesting.
Well, I didn't have that much problem with that sort of stuff. I just thought the film was...
What about the face of Brother? Brother's face was fucking terrible.
Yeah, Brother was not good.
Like, the character design looked great, but whenever you saw his face, it just looked stupid. The CGI face on that character was almost as bad as The Rock's CGI face in The Mummy Returns.
Oh, God.
Like, it looked plastic and shiny, and it looked like it was rendered on like an early PS3 game.
Yeah.
But, I mean... other than that, I mean, I really liked the visual effects in this, especially when he was cutting through the pillars in the subway station and they were sort of spraying out. It looked almost like black goo, but then it was like solidifying immediately. That was a really nice effect.
Yeah,
Like,
I did. Yeah, I thought they were really good as well.
I also thought it was quite funny that they've been criticizing Marvel for always having the big pillar of light shining up into the sky with garbage flying around it, and this movie had the exact same thing.
They had it in Man of Steel, they had it in this film, they had it in Avengers, Marvel's done it, and For the Dark World had it as well, so you know.
Full Stick did it.
Yeah, and I think it's a comic cliche, to be honest. I think it
is a cliche, but if you're going to use cliches in your movies, how about you don't criticize others using the exact same cliches? Because then you're just a hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the main reason. I mean, should we just get to the scores anyway?
Yeah, I just want to quickly say, with Deadshot's character, Will Smith, is that he has a fantastic story arc, which I think then hit the nail on the head with his relationship with his family, his ex-wife, and his daughter. Great moments and stuff like that. That's all I want to say about that. But
Deadshot had some of the best stuff in the movie for sure. As for score, I mean, I gave BVS a 3 out of 10. I give this a 5.
You give this a 5, okay. I give this
still being a 4 out of 10. So this is easily the best one of the DC Cinematic Universe so far.
I think personally, for me, I enjoyed this a lot more than you, and I give this a just pushing a 6.5. That's just me personally. I really enjoyed this film. I will watch it again. I want to get this on Blu-ray when it comes out, you know.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah. This is one I'm definitely good. I would much rather watch this again than Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, for sure. Even though Superman's my favourite and he's not in this movie.
Well...
Thankfully, he's not in this movie, because it would have to be Zack Snyder's Superman. Yeah, so... obviously, we've got differing opinions on our scores there, so make of that what you will, anybody listening. But let us know what you thought of the movie in the box below. It doesn't matter if you've got different opinions to ours. We're not going to hate on you or anything for that, and we ask you that you'll respect us the same way. But yeah, let us know what you thought, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, Armin here, just reminding you that this video was made possible thanks to patrons. If you guys are interested in supporting us and making sure we keep the lights on, check out our Patreon where you can join other fans in supporting the CBC, delivering content you guys have come to love and expect. And if you can't do that, give us a like and a subscribe. That goes a long way too.